Aikui, Naknamalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian, and today I will be talking about my April hopefuls. I have technically already done this video, but I did it too early. I did it sometime last week. Today is March 31st, so hopefully I will get this edited in time, in a timely manner, and have it posted here shortly. But I did, like I said, I did film this last week and it was too early. I can't, because I've changed my mind on a couple things and like kind of narrowed it down a bit further, because otherwise it would have been like, it was just a little too daunting for me. Let me go let my dog in. Hold on. Okay, now that he's in and doesn't think the sky is falling, let's go ahead and talk about what I hope to read for the month of April. I do have a couple of books that I'm currently in the middle of. One of them I do hope to finish today before March ends. So I guess you'll find out in my March wrap up if I get to it. That is the goal though. I have quite a bit actually on my, okay. I started a bunch of books in March. But one of them is A Tempest of Tea. It's the first book in the Blood and Tea series by Hafsa Faisal. I apologize if I said that completely incorrectly. Hafsa Faisal. I am not too far into this, but I started this because of Jan from Jan Agaton's Coffin Covers Challenge. The Coffin Covers Challenge is very much like the Buzzword Cover Challenge, in that there is like a theme or object that we have to find on a book cover and kind of read that for the month. And in March, it was a hat. This is the only book I own with a hat on it. I don't currently have it with me, so like hence the photo, and I've been wanting to get to this. So basically this is a young adult fantasy that has vampires, and it's also kind of historical fiction. On the streets of White Roaring, Arthi Casimir, is it Arthi or Artie? It's a criminal mastermind and a collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by dark, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthi is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it. And she can't do the job alone. So it's kind of a heist. I am kind of tandem reading it. Kind of, sort of, like I've been reading it physically, and then because I'm still having a hard time finding my groove for reading physically. That's not just like an hour before I actually fall asleep or go to bed. I have also been listening to it as well. So, but I'm finding that with doing that, I'm trying to force myself to finish the chapter so I know I can like start the continue on with the audiobook cleanly, and so far that hasn't quite happened. So yeah, I've been enjoying it so far though. I was really surprised with how easy of a read it is. I just wasn't able to complete it in March. So I'm hoping to complete it in April, and I'm still count it for the Coffin Covers Challenge for March. And then I also have the Rainfall Market. I started this, I don't know why. I think I just wanted something to listen to that wasn't so, I wanted something to listen to that felt a little light and fantastical. And I think this is actually kind of a little, this is pitched as cozy fantasy, but I think there's some heavier topics in it, just from what I've heard, or just listened to. So I am listening to this. It's a shorter, I think it's like a 6-hour audiobook, so I read it on like 1.8 times speed, so it's relatively shorter than that. But The Rainfall Market by Yu Young Guang is, and translated by Sling Zhong, is like I said, a cozy fantasy. And we are on the let me just read you the synopsis. On the outskirts of Rainbow Town, there is an old abandoned house. They say that if you send a letter detailing your misfortunes, you could receive a ticket. If you bring this ticket to the house on the first day of the rainy season, you'll be granted entrance into the mysterious Rainfall Market, where you can choose to completely change your life. No one is more surprised than Seren when she receives a ticket. Lonely with no real prospects for a future, Seren ventures to the market, determined to create a better life for herself. So that's all I really knew going into the synopsis. It's a really pretty cover. And I think it kind of gives the feel of like, I haven't read The Midnight Library, but that's kind of what it gives me. It also kind of gives me Oh, the first one in the series. The Kamigawa Food Detectives of sorts. So I have a feeling it's going to be like we're going to see... we're probably not going to be as foodie, but we're going to like see a bunch of like possible futures for Saren. So we'll see. But I also I would like to finish this as well. I could potentially finish it today, but there is another book I would rather finish today because it's been on a couple of Hopefuls videos and I would just like to get done talking about it, and that is Girl Warrior on Coming of Age by Joy Harjo. This is part poetry, part memoir, and an inspirational work of wisdom, warmth, and generosity from a 3-term U.S. Poet Laureate. So far, I've been really enjoying it, and actually a book group that's here local, but we've just been talking over Discord, has been reading it, and so there's certain sections I'll get through, and they're really relatively short chapters. It's actually a relatively short book. It's only 176 pages, but what I've been enjoying about it is that after I'm done reading certain sections, I just sit and think, and it gets me to think. Because Joy Harjo has a lot to say, and has some profound things to say, and the way she says them really helps me connect with myself as well as my culture, as well as nature around me. So I've been really appreciating that and just kind of sitting with my feelings and her words. So it has taken me a little bit, but I do hope to finish this today. So hopefully you'll hear about it in my March wrap up. So those are the current ones that I would like to finish. There are other current ones. We'll just see how that works. So let's go ahead, and there are a couple books that I do have to get to in the month of April. I know the whole reason I do Hopefuls is because I don't want to feel the pressure of like a TBR, but these two particularly, I have obligations to finish them. The first one is because I'm taking a class. You probably heard me say it before in other Hopefuls videos for this year. I'm taking a ecofeminism and critical ecology class for my master's degree. So for the month of April, we are reading The Red Deal, Indigenous Action to Save Our Earth by the Red Nation, a powerful guide to Indigenous liberation and the fight to save the planet. The Red Deal is a political program for the liberation that emerges the oldest class struggle in the Americas, the fight by Native people to win sovereignty, autonomy, and dignity. As the Red Nation proclaims it is to reclaim the life and future that has been stolen, come together to confront climate disaster and build a world where all life can thrive. So yeah, we're reading this for the month. I was supposed to read something last month too, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, so it's a relatively short book. It's under 200 pages, though it is also a really small font, but it should be interesting. The other one that I have to get to in April, I am part of Faculty Book Circle on campus. So if you don't know, I work for the university that I am currently getting my master's from. So I work in the library. I am a researcher and coordinator, which means I do interlibrary loan. So I am staff, but I am but I like joining this Faculty Book Circle, which the title is kind of a misnomer, and I've told them that. It's very, kind of makes it so that staff doesn't feel welcome, and like, even though the people are very, very welcoming that run this, and they know that the title of this book circle kind of deters staff. So we'll see. But I've joined this a couple times, and even before I had joined, I had been reading a couple of books that they had picked anyway. And so the last couple of times I've joined, it's been really fun. I like joining these Zoom calls to hear people's discussions and people's questions and people's thoughts on the book that we read. And so for this semester, the book that we're reading is A Feather and a Fork. 125 Intertribal Dishes from an Indigenous Food Warrior by Crystal Wapepa with Amy Page Condon, and a foreword by Tommy Orange. So this is a cookbook. Ultimately, this is our first cookbook that we're reading. This is my first cookbook that I'm reading, which I'm kind of happy that we're kind of diving into, because it's something that I've been curious about in terms of like cookbooks having essays by the chefs, to kind of have a book circle kind of like push us towards reading. a cookbook is really exciting. What's also really exciting is that the university, particularly the Food Sovereignty Lab, which is the only one in the CSU system, has Crystal Wapepa as a chef in residence for our academic year. So she will be coming to campus later this semester, hosting a couple of workshops for student, staff, and faculty, as well as doing a book talk. So I'm hoping to be able to get this book signed, and I'm so happy too that this book circle has been great because they've also provided us with the physical books. So I'm really super excited. It was on like my want to buy list anyway, so that's really fun. I think that's it. Oh, no. Last semester, they started doing this thing where we all get together in person for the book circle and do like a potluck kind of celebration and get to meet each other in person and better connect with others. Because the whole point of this is to not only decolonize some of the ways that our faculty and staff think on campus, but also to connect the university community with other people that we may not see on a regular basis, because our departments can be really siloed. They started doing this last semester in that at the very end we come together in person and get to like physically meet each other as opposed to over Zoom and like bring food. And they're doing that this time. I wasn't able to get to it last year because it was happening during a time that I was working. So this semester it's happening on a day that I don't work, thankfully. And they've challenged us for the potluck to bring something that was mentioned in here. So they're challenging us to create a dish from this cookbook, which I'm really excited about because there's going to be some interesting ingredients in here. I was told right off the bat that like Crystal Wapepa doesn't use chicken eggs, she uses duck eggs. So that's going to be interesting. But I think too, because we also have like a Canvas course for this book circle. So we're going to have like some stuff in discussions to be able to figure out where to find some of the ingredients, because I see that there's like blue cornmeal, choke cherries, like just some things that we don't normally see in like a supermarket. But some farmers market should be coming up too. So hopefully we can find some stuff there. So we're going to hopefully connect and figure out where to get some of these, some of these ingredients. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. It'll be really interesting. So other things that I don't necessarily have to get to, I just kind of like challenging myself to get to. So I mentioned one already, and that's the coffin covers. So I am reading Tempest of Tea for the March coffin covers challenge. So the coffin covers challenge is for Jan Agaton's Patreon, which I am a part of. I highly suggest you go check her out, as well as anybody else I happen to mention. I just kind of assume that everybody already knows who Jan and Kayla from Books and Lala are, just because they're like key booktubers and I'm just a small baby booktuber. For April, Jan's coffin covers challenge is to read something with an electronic on the cover. And so I already checked with her on this. Not that either Kayla or Jan really like police their challenges, but I just wanted to be sure. I'm just like, this could be considered electronic or it could be considered something else. But I'm going to continue on with Autonomous, which is another one that I've been in the middle of reading. I'm not even in the middle. It's like a quarter. But I was really enjoying it. This is by Annalee Newitz. I've read Annalee Newitz before. I loved Automatic Noodle. But this one is another like dystopian-esque future science fiction. It's Earth 2144. We're following Jack, who's an anti-patent scientist turned drug pirate, a pharmaceutical Robin Hood traversing the world in a submarine, fabricating cheap scripts for poor people who couldn't otherwise afford them. But her latest drug hack leaves a trail of lethal overdoses as people become addicted to their work, repeating job tasks until they become insane. So yeah, like I said, I was really enjoying it as I was reading it, but that was part of the problem, is that when I start tabbing up and highlighting and making notes, I don't tend to want to read it before bed because I want all my stuff with me, and that's not conducive to like falling asleep. This is going to be a daytime read, and so hopefully that will really push me to like find a good groove for reading physically during the day at some point. So that's my choice for the electronic coffin covers challenge. The two others that I try to push myself to read as well is the Kayla from Books and Lala's buzzword cover challenge, which is essentially the same thing as the coffin covers challenge. There is just something that I have to find on the cover of a book to fulfill the challenge, and for Kayla's it's accessories. So kind of like a little broader version of Jan's from March, which was just hats. Kayla's accessories, and I think I may end up choosing something else. I have a feeling I'm going to, but what I would like to do is read The Volcano Daughters by Gina Maria Balabrera. This is an advanced reader's copy that I got from ALA 2024. Is that when this came out? Whenever it was in San Diego. I feel like that was 2024 because I went with a coworker, and last year around that time she had left for a new job. So yeah, it must have been 2024. So this has been out, and at the time it was Gina Maria Galabrera's debut. I don't know if they've posted anything since, but it's El Salvador, 1923. Graciela, a young woman growing up on a volcano in a community of indigenous women, is summoned to the capital where she is claimed as an oracle for a rising dictator. There she meets Consuelo, the daughter she has never known, who was stolen from their home before Graciela was born. The two spend years under the cruel El Gran Pandejo's regime, unwillingly helping his reign of terror until genocide strikes the community from which they hail. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know. I've been hearing little bits and pieces about El Salvador after reading Fresh Banana Leaves, where Jessica Hernandez talks about her dad during the Civil War during El Salvador, the U.S.-backed Civil War in El Salvador when he was a kid. Like, he was recruited for the guerrilla at age 14. And then we've been binge watching Alone, and there was a participant in Alone, Amos, who also had to deal with a civil war in El Salvador, and it came to the U.S. So this is feels like it's kind of fitting right now, because I'd love to learn more. I get that this is a fiction book, it's not nonfiction, but I think it'll still have like an interesting perspective, and I just want to learn more. So we do have what looks like a necklace of a spider pendant on one of the girls here, so I am curious about it. Though already this feels like a lot of physical reads, so it may end up changing to some, like, if I can, I wonder if this is on Libro. If it's on Libro or Libby or something, I might do it that way. So yeah, there's that. And then we have Buzzword Challenge, which is it's essentially kind of like the Buzzword cover challenge, but instead of something to find on the cover, we're trying to find something in the title. So for April, for the Buzzword Challenge, it's an ordinal number. So first, second, third, 100th. 1984, well, I don't think would work. I actually have two books in mind for this one. One of them I actually bought because I had this in mind, but it's kind of a chunker. She's under 500 pages, but like, she's still kind of chunky. And that is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Babalino. This cover has attracted me. I'm curious how I feel about this whole like Lady Night theme that seems to be really popping up lately. And I've heard good things. I actually think this is one of the ones that Kayla had read at one point, but I don't remember how she felt about it. I thought she liked it, maybe. But this is following Gray Flynn, who's dedicated her life to her mage, Kier. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Kier's to wield. They are bound together by blood and magic, but there is one truth Gray not reveal, not even to Kier. When a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom pulls them in a dangerous mission, Gray will need to decide what she is willing to sacrifice to protect her secret. So yeah, that is one option, but like I said, she's kind of chunky. So unless I find the audiobook for it, that may or may not be what I choose. The other one I have ordered from Interlibrary Loan. I'm still waiting for it to show up. Mail has been taking forever. Yeah, I'm waiting on this, but I am really curious about it, and it's called First Catch, A Study of a Spring Meal by Tom Eagle. This is another like cookbook of sorts, but it doesn't have recipes in it. First Catch is a cookbook without recipes. An invitation to journey through the digestive mind of a chef at work, and a hymn to a singular 9-dish festive spring lunch. In Eagle's kitchen, open shelves reveal colorful jars of vegetables pickling over the course of months, and a sofrito of onions, celery, and carrots cooked slowly under a watchful gaze in a skillet heavy enough to double as a murder weapon. Eagle has both the sharp eye of a food scientist as he tries to identify the 17 unique steps of boiling water, as well as of that of a roving food historian as he ponders what the spice silphium tasted like to the Romans, who overate it to worldwide extinction. He is a tour guide to the world of ingredients, a culinary explorer, and a thoughtful commentator on the ways immigration, technology, and fashion has changed the way we eat. He is also a food philosopher, asking the question, at what stage does cooking begin? That's all I kind of want to know. As I'm reading this, it kind of sounds a little like, I don't know how to explain it other than like uppity. So we'll see. But I kind of just stumbled across this, and I like the idea of a spring meal. I'm really kind of just enjoying spring right now. There was a couple of weeks there where like I wasn't ready to let winter go. Cold nights, like cold winter storms, the possibility of ice on my car. I just wasn't ready to let that go yet. And now, within the last like week or so, as I've like made pesto out of some wild 3-cornered leeks, and just started cutting down my daffodils because they are in need of some deadheading, and seeing if I can make cordage out of that. I'm like ready for spring, and it's what it produces. So those are the two options: First Catch, Study of a Spring Meal by Tom Eagle, and The Second Death of Locke. So we'll see which one I end up getting to. Those are the challenges. Actually, so there's another one that I forgot that I had, and that it for the buzzword challenge, and that is The Fourth Island by Sarah Tolney. This is a novella, and I have had this for a while because I was really into, I'm still really into Rovina Kai's work. Rovina Kai did the illustrated cover and has done other illustrated covers of other books that I've absolutely loved. A Lot's Away by Darcy Little Badger. It's prequel that I have yet to read. Xian Lend, I believe it's called. She's also done the remastered artwork for the Temporary series. Naomi Novik, that's who did it. So I don't have those ones. I really do want them. I wanted to listen to all of them first, and I kind of just stopped after the third one. But yeah, The Fourth Island is a dark, mournful, and beautiful, a moving and unforgettable story of life and death on the hidden Irish island of Cailte. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, that's all I really want to know because it's a novella. So that's another option too, which I'm kind of leaning towards just because how small it is. And then, of course, I have a couple of them that I've talked about before in my last one that I wasn't able to get to that I still really want to read. And that is The Backyard Bird Chronicles by Amy Tan, which, like, I've seen as an audiobook, but, like, there's, like, illustrations in here. So, like, I don't want to miss out on that. So I want to read this physically. And then another one that I've had on so many lists now that I still want to get to is 1984 by George Orwell. Still haven't been spoiled for that yet. And then another one, two more actually, that I would like to get to eventually. We'll see if I can start them in April. How's that? Doesn't mean I'll necessarily finish them. Is one of them's a new one that I have yet to haul. And that is Rewild Yourself, Making Nature More Visible in Our Lives by Simon Barnes. This is a gorgeous cover. I absolutely love it, even if it's a little hard to read. For those readers who want to get closer to nature all around them and bring it back into focus within their lives, this book is the ideal companion. We're not just losing the wild world, we're forgetting it. We're no longer noticing it. We've lost the habit of looking and seeing and listening and hearing. But we can make hidden things visible, and this book features numerous spellbinding ways to bring the magic of nature much closer to home. Mammals you never knew existed will enter your world. Birds hidden in treetops will shed their cloak of anonymity Anonymity. With a single movement of your hand, you can make reptiles appear before you. Butterflies you never saw before will bring joy to every sunny day. Creatures of the darkness will enter your consciousness. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know. Like, I'm kind of excited. I'm pretty excited for this. Like, obviously I got it. But yeah, that's one I would like to start. And another one I would like to start that I've been wanting to start, because I've had this for a while now, but I feel like it's just going to be so scientific, is Abalone, The Remarkable History and Uncertain Future of California's Iconic Shellfish by Anne Velisis. Like I said, I've had this for a bit. This was published through Oregon State University. From rocky coves of Mendocino and Monterey to San Diego's reefs, abalone have held a cherished place in California culture for millennia. Prized for iridescent shells and delectable meat, these unique shellfish inspired indigenous artisans, bohemian writers, California cuisine, and the popular sport of skin diving, but also became a highly coveted commercial commodity. Mistakenly regarded as an inexhaustible seafood, abalone ultimately became vulnerable to overfishing and early impacts of climate change. Combining rich cultural and culinary history with hard-minded marine science, grassroots activism, and gritty politics, Abalone chronicles the plight of California's abalone species and the growing biological awareness that has become crucial to conserving these rare animals into the future. I've talked about it before, I think, when I hauled this. I'm pretty sure I got this in Oregon when I was up there. But I was particularly really interested because, been interested in abalone because my now husband had gotten into it diving for abalone, and then like a year later California shut down the fishery for abalone because of how small the numbers have gotten. And so it's more curious about the animal itself. I've used abalone shells in regalia. Most of the tribes around here use it in a lot of regalia, but that's all I've ever seen. And so when I got more curious about the animal itself, like I've done artwork featuring like the whole animal itself, and found that particularly within my family, a lot of people, like a lot of my family members, had never seen like a live abalone. And so it just kind of made me curious. And when California shut down the fishery for abalone, they said it was only going to be for a couple years, and I kind of called bullshit right away, because Oregon had also shut down its fishery 10 years before. And that was at the beginning of Brad and Mai's relationship when we first started dating. So probably 8, maybe 9 years ago now. And within the last year, California has extended the ban on abalone fishing for another 5 or 10 years or something like that. So it's something I've been wanting to get into, and I'm particularly more interested. So yeah, that is what I would like to read or finish and start in April. So we'll see which ones I end up getting to. We'll see how much reading I can get done. Hopefully some things get done. But yeah, let's go ahead and put some kind of food emoji. I may end up putting strawberries just because like they're here, and there's no abalone emoji, lamely enough. So yeah. Otherwise, let me know what you're looking forward to in spring. Is there a particular food that you can't wait to like dive back into? Like strawberries more of an early summer. But I was really excited for this 3-cornered leek to pop up. Like mostly because it's an invasive species, and it's also like a weed that like when you cut it, it smells heavily of onion. But I was really happy to make pesto out of it. So yeah, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, just some kind of food. I hope that you are enjoying the current book you're reading, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Cheers.